So here's how the whole process works for compensation. I try to put it on a single page. We start with the work. We start with job descriptions and org charts. The job description explains what the job is, what the job holder spends their time doing. That's the key duties and responsibilities. The purpose, why the job exists. You know what an accounts payable clerk is, or an accounts payable rep, or whatever you want to call it. Accounts payable and accounts receivable. You know what that is, right? They pay the invoices and they collect company invoices. They collect payments from customers and then they pay the bills for the company. But you know what their purpose is? It's not to pay the bills. It's not to send out invoices. Their purpose is to support the cash flow of the company. That's the purpose of accounts payable and accounts receivable. They want to pay the bills as slowly as possible, and they want customers to pay their bills as fast as possible. That supports the cash flow of the company. That's the purpose of the job. Every job has a purpose, right? So job descriptions are really, really important. For job grading and benchmarking, we focus on the key responsibilities, the key duties in the job. All right. Organization charts show where the position fits, okay, who it reports to, what job it reports to. I don't care about the name of the person. I just want to see what manager, oversees this job and what other positions report to the same manager and what other positions may report into this position and so on. So by seeing the context of what work is done by other people, then I know where this job ends and another job begins because somebody else is responsible for B. So in this job description, it may mention B, and I might get the mistaken impression that this job is responsible for B. But I look on the org chart and I see somebody is the manager of B. Okay, they actually own it. This person is involved, but they're not responsible for it. So the job description tells me what the job is. The org chart tells me what the job is not, because I can see somebody else is responsible for B, C, D, E, F, like that. Together, you get a complete picture of what the job is and where it ends. Okay, that's very important before you grade a job, to know accurately and completely what the job is. Okay? We should not gloss over that step. It's very important. Otherwise, all your pay decisions, your pay grade, job evaluation will be questioned. It'll be challenged. You have to demonstrate and defend that you really know what that job is. Okay? Job grading then, as I said, is using some kind of tool or criteria to grade the job. Which jobs go into grade number 4? Well, grade 4 is for a fresh graduate. All fresh graduates? Let's say grade 4 has a minimum, midpoint, and maximum of $2,000, $3,000, $4,000 a month. Do all your fresh grads really go there? Well, except for our software developers, because they're hot on the market, so we put them in the next grade. Oh, really? They have the same degree requirement, same complexity, same impact, but why do you put them up? Because of the market value. Okay, now we have an issue. So the grading of the job is internal. It's not about the market. Well, it is, but we have to decide to what extent is the grading of a job driven by the size of the job itself or by the external value? What's it worth on the market? Or is it both? Yeah, it's probably both. But which one is primarily responsible for that job's grade? So we break it down between, judging the internal value of the job using a job evaluation tool versus market pricing to determine the external value. Both are relevant in the grading, but it should primarily be job grading based on the job description, the content of the job, less so than the market pricing. Why? Because the market value of a job fluctuates. What's a hot skill today may not be a hot skill tomorrow. Okay, so we need to do grading. Job evaluation is the fancy term for it. Market pricing, or benchmarking, is the term we also use. And then together we put that the grading and the benchmarking to come up with salary range midpoints And once we have the salary range midpoint, we can go up and down a certain percentage to have a salary range minimum and maximum. And once you have those ranges, then you can build salary proposal worksheets, or you can do an annual salary review by looking at a person's salary and where it sits within that range and what their performance rating is, things like that. All right, and then you work with the managers at this point, guided by the rewards philosophy. Philosophy simply means what you believe about pay. Right? What do you believe about pay? Do you believe that your company should pay everybody the same? If the market median, the middle of the market is this, then that's what you should pay everybody. Or do you believe that some jobs are more critical than others strategically? Okay. Some of you are doing administrative jobs as well as creators, right? We talked about that. So should they all be paid basically, middle of the market? Or are you more in competition for the creative, whereas the administrative should be right on the market, the creative should be at 60th percentile or 75th percentile? Okay? Or maybe you take the view that they love what they do. It's not about the money for them. It's the passion for what they're doing. So you don't have to pay them as much. What's your philosophy? Okay, you have to take a stand. In a tech business like Yulin, you may pay your cybersecurity, your software developers, your testers, your architects. You may have to pay them, at least those who are building your new products, you may have to pay them a premium. But those who are maintaining your legacy products, okay, that's called sustaining engineering. If it's an engineering firm, those who are sustaining your existing legacy products, which may become obsolete someday, you may not have to pay premium, okay? So there's some decisions to make. How do you match to the market? How do you align to the market? This is pay philosophy. Okay, there's other questions that come up on reward philosophy. What about pay for performance? Do you believe that part of everyone's pay should be tied to the business results? Then you're going to have an incentive plan. Okay? But if you believe that everybody's pay should just be fixed, regardless of the business results, you take a loss because of the pandemic, you're losing money. Yeah, well, everybody deserves their bonus because they achieved their KPIs. Another company might say, forget it. If there's no profit, there's no bonuses. That's a matter of philosophy. That's a matter of philosophy. What is your company's philosophy? All right? If there's inflation, if there's high inflation, is it your obligation to keep people whole with inflation? I don't know. Emotionally, we all say yes. That's bad business. If we keep people whole with inflation, that means when inflation is zero, they don't get raises. Really? Do you know that until the last year, inflation in Singapore was roughly zero for the last 6 or 7 years, roughly, approximately zero inflation. Did any of you pay according to inflation the last 6 years? No way. You're paying 3.5%, 4%, because that's the salary trend. If you just pay zero inflation, everybody's going to be gone by now. But when inflation goes up, oh, hand on heart, we must keep people whole with inflation. Yeah. When it's high, it's a moral obligation. When it's low, nobody does it. Okay? What's your philosophy? I'm not telling you what your philosophy should be. I'm just saying it's a real thing. It really affects decisions like that. Okay, we have to know the word's philosophy. If you expected this class to teach you the correct way to do everything, then just give me failing marks as a teacher. I'm going to teach you principles. I'm not going to tell you what to do. There is no one right answer. Each organization has to sort out and try to articulate, what do you believe about inflation? What do you believe about guaranteed raise? What do you believe about job protection? Is everybody entitled to a raise, a bonus? Or does it depend on making money as an organization? These are decisions that are being made by your managing director. Figure out what your MD and your board thinks about pay and align your pay practices accordingly. Okay? It's a lot more fun, and you get a lot more respect when you ask those kind of questions. Okay? I can't tell you what to do.